You know, you just think about how fast things are changing. It really feels like, well, it wasn't that long ago we were focused on agriculture, right?
Yeah, the agricultural revolution feels like ancient history now.
Then bam, factories, the Industrial Revolution,
Yeah.
suddenly everything's mass
And then
produced.
computers, the internet, that just changed, well, everything.
Exactly. And now it feels like we're smack dab in the middle of this AI revolution. You see it everywhere, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
impossible to ignore. And, while most people listening probably have a sense of what AI is,
Right.
the real uncertainty, I think, is what's it actually going to do? How's it going to change, like, your job, your life?
There's definitely a lot of maybe anxiety around that.
That's completely understandable. It's a
Yeah.
big question mark for a lot of folks.
Yeah. And if you are feeling a bit uneasy about what AI means for your career or just your future in general, well, you're definitely not alone. It's a huge
It
shift.
really is.
But something I found really compelling in the material from Bill Clarke we looked at, his whole message is basically stop worrying, start preparing.
That's such a crucial takeaway, isn't it? Especially his message to, like, high school students, younger people. It's not about fear, it's about action, getting ready for what's coming.
Definitely. And he even questioned the term itself, artificial intelligence. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, he brought up Lars Thompson's suggestions. What were they? Augmented
It's
intelligence?
ambient intelligence, right?
Yeah, and the idea behind that is, well, it changes how you think about it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Augmented suggests it helps us, makes us better.
Like a tool.
Exactly. And ambient sounds more like, it's just there in the background, helping out seamlessly.
Less like robots taking over.
Precisely. It frames it more as support for humanity, which I think is a much more productive way to look at it.
It really shifts the perspective, and that leads right into the big question Clark keeps coming back to, the one he thinks everyone needs to ask themselves. What can you do that AI cannot do?
Yes. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really gets you thinking about what makes us uniquely human.
Okay, so let's dive into that a bit. One of Clark's core concepts really resonated with me. He says, our brains were designed for having ideas, not for holding ideas.
That's powerful. And think about how that connects to just feeling overwhelmed, right?
Totally.
We're constantly juggling tasks, info, responsibilities. Our brains weren't built for that kind of like constant storage and retrieval of just stuff.
He calls them open loops, right? All these things rattling around in your head, unfinished business.
Exactly. Unmanaged input, he calls it. And it just creates stress, drains your mental energy. You can't think clearly, can't be creative when your brain is just acting like a messy filing cabinet,
So true, you feel bogged down.
which is why he argues so strongly for needing external brain, some kind of system outside your head to capture all that stuff.
Free up the main processor, basically.
You got it. Free up your mind for the actual thinking, for the creativity, for the things humans do best.
Okay, so how do you build this external brain? This is where GTD comes in.
Yes, GTD. Getting things done. That's the framework Clark recommends.
And this isn't some new trendy thing, right?
Not at all. David Allen developed it, gosh, must be 25 years ago now. Wrote the book, sold millions.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a really well-established methodology for basically getting your life organized and feeling, in control, even when things are crazy busy.
It's about trusting a system outside yourself.
That's the key.
Good.
Trusting the system. And what Clark does, which is really practical, is show how you can implement this proven GTD method using a really simple free tool.
Which is Google Keep.
Google Keep, yeah? Or Keep Notes on Android. Super accessible.
So the idea is just dump everything in there. Every task, idea, reminder.
Pretty much. He says all of your stuff.
Hmm.
Get it out of your head into individual notes in Keep. That's the starting point.
Yeah.
Empty the mental inbox.
Okay. And then how do you organize it all?
Labels. That's Google's word for tags. He emphasizes using labels as the primary organization tool.
But there's a limit, right? Only 50.
Yeah, and he actually sees that limit as a good thing. Forces you to be thoughtful, to create a meaningful structure rather than just tagging everything under the sun.
Interesting constraint.
Yeah.
Makes you prioritize your categories.
Right. And Keep Notes are surprisingly flexible. You can have text, obviously, but also images, audio recordings. You can even draw things.
And lists. He mentioned lists with checkboxes.
Yeah, crucial for projects. You can break down a project into actual steps within a single note and check them off. Really helps manage actionable tasks.
What about files? Can you attach files?
Good point. Not directly.
Hmm.
His workaround is simple, though. Just link to a Google Doc or something similar stored elsewhere. Bit
Yeah.
clunky, maybe, but it works.
Okay, so you've got your stuff in Keep, you've got labels. How does the GTD process actually work with this? He mentioned 5 steps. Capture was the first one.
Right. Capture. Step one is just getting it all in.
Yeah.
Everything that has your attention, big or small, dump it into Google Keep. No filtering, no organizing it. Just capture.
Get it out of your head.
Exactly. Step two is clarify.
Okay, clarify. What does that mean?
It means looking at each item you captured and asking, what is this? Is it actionable? If yes, what's the very next action? Is it a project? Is it just reference material? Or is it trash?
So you're defining what each thing actually requires from you.
Precisely. Then step three is organize.
Putting it all in the right buckets.
Basically, yeah. Using those labels you set up and keep. Assigning context maybe or project tags, putting reference material where it belongs, building that trusted system.
Makes sense. What's step 4?
Reflect. This is crucial. You need to regularly review your system. Look at your lists, your calendar, your project notes.
Like a weekly review.
Often weekly, yeah. To make sure it's current, to assess your priorities, to decide what needs attention now. Keep the system alive and trustworthy.
Right, otherwise it just becomes another pile of neglected stuff.
Exactly. And finally, step 5 is engage.
Doing the work.
Doing the work, making choices about what to do based on your clarified and organized options, trusting that you're working on the right things because you've reflected on them.
And the whole point of this 5-step dance is
To free up your mind, to get all that administrative overhead out of your head and into the trusted system so your brain can do what it does best: think, create, solve problems. Be human.
which loops us back perfectly to that core question. What can humans do that AI can't? Clarke had that whole list, didn't he? 50 things only humans can do.
Yeah, that list is fascinating. It really drives home the difference between simulating intelligence and actually being human, you know?
Absolutely. Like under creativity, emotion, judgment, AI can generate text or images, sure, but can it feel genuine joy or grief?
Or make a truly original artistic leap based on intuition and lived experience? Not really. Or grapple with a complex ethical dilemma that has shades of gray,
Yeah,
that requires human values.
right. And what about physical stuff? Sensory experiences.
Well, think about navigating a crowded room using sight, sound, touch, all integrated. Or truly savoring the taste and smell of food. Robots can move, sensors can detect, but that rich, unified sensory experience, that's us.
And the social side.
Oh, huge difference. Building deep trust in a relationship over years. Mentoring someone based on your own struggles and successes. Making ethical calls in messy, real-world situations. AI doesn't have the empathy, the shared cultural understanding, the moral compass for that.
It can analyze data, but it doesn't have, like, wisdom.
Well put. Or think about learning and adaptation. We can learn from one mistake, a single instance, and generalize that learning. We can do metacognition, think about how we think.
AI needs massive data sets, right?
Typically, yes. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have that self-awareness. Then there's imagination, intuition, dreaming up something completely novel, having that gut feeling, that intuitive leap that doesn't follow strict logic.
The sparks of true innovation.
Exactly. And, well, the obvious biological stuff. Being born, aging, experiencing consciousness through a physical body, contemplating existence. AI doesn't do any of that.
It's not alive.
Fundamentally, no. Which also ties into ethics and responsibility. Taking personal responsibility, making sacrifices for others or a cause, genuinely envisioning and striving for a better future based on values.
Those are deeply human motivations. Even the miscellaneous ones were interesting, like experiencing boredom or finding beauty in imperfection, like wabi-sabi.
Right. It all points to the same thing. AI can be an amazing tool. It can simulate a lot, but it lacks consciousness, lived experience, emotions, genuine understanding, ethical depth, a whole messy, complex, wonderful package of being human.
So Clarke's point is, focus on those things, develop your uniquely human skills.
That's the strategy. Lean into what makes you irreplaceable. And he recognizes that, getting this GTD system running smoothly with Google Keep might take a bit of help.
Right, which is why he offers that online course to walk you through it step by step. I think you mentioned it normally costs around $99.
That's what he said, yes. But the really great part,
He's offering it free.
he is. For listeners of this deep dive, he's provided a special code for free access.
Wow, that's generous. So if you're listening and thinking, okay, I want to build a second brain, free up my mind, this is a chance to learn exactly how.
Absolutely. And a very practical way to implement everything we've been talking about.
Are there any catches? Like time limits?
Just one small thing to note. The code itself is valid for 60 days. So you need to sign up within that window. But once you start the course, you get lifetime access.
Okay, so sign up within 2 months and it's yours forever. That's a pretty great deal.
Fantastic opportunity, really, to take a concrete step, Learn a valuable skill that helps you manage information and prepares you for this future where AI is more prevalent.
So I guess the big takeaway here is, yeah, AI is coming, it's powerful, it's changing things.
But the focus shouldn't just be on the AI itself, maybe. It should be on us, on how we prepare, how we adapt, how we leverage our own unique human strengths.
Right. Using systems like GTD, tools like Keep, not just to be more productive in the old sense, but to free up that mental bandwidth.
To focus on creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, complex problem solving.
Yeah.
All the stuff AI can't do, or at least can't do like a human can.
So that question keeps coming back. What can you do that AI cannot do? It's really something to ponder.
Definitely. And maybe implementing a system like this is the first step toward actually having the mental space to explore and cultivate those abilities more deeply.
A final thought then. Maybe in a world increasingly driven by algorithms and data,
Hmm.
our biggest competitive advantage, our real source of, I don't know, meaning and success, actually lies in doubling down on being human.
Embracing and amplifying that innate human potential. I
Yeah.
think that's exactly right.